What's going on, guys? I'm Dan. This is Scented Waters, and today I have a review for you on a few samples that I picked up from Scentual Obsessions. Before we go any further, how about you hit the subscribe button and hit that bell. Like I said, I picked up a few samples from Scentual Obsessions, which is a company based out of North Florida. So I figured, you know what, since this is my home state and this is a fragrance in my home state, how about I see what's up? See what kind of stuff they got. So I went to the site, picked up a few fragrances that I have in my collection to see what their clone ratio is like. So here's my take on them. So the 5 fragrances that I picked up from Scentual Obsessions, first one is Lucky, and you can pretty much imagine what that's about. It's Paco Rabanne's 1 Million Lucky. Second one is their take on Prada L'Homme. Sorry, it's kind of faded out, rubbed on it a few times. Third fragrance is Ultraman, whatever you want to call it. Fourth fragrance is Eros by Versace. Once again, the label kind of rubbed off. Fifth fragrance is Virgin Island Water. So I'm not gonna go over any notes, just gonna go over the comparisons on how close they are and how they worked for me during my testing. And the order that I'm gonna go in is least close to the most close of the fragrance that they're cloning. Like I said, each one of these samples are fragrances that I actually have in my collection of the original. So me saying that they're least close doesn't mean that the fragrance doesn't smell good, because every single one of these actually smell good, but it's not as close as I would like when it comes to a clone. First comparison is Eros. Their take on Versace Eros. First off, look at the sprayer. Those things are beast, pretty good. When it comes to how close Scentual Obsessions version of Eros is to the actual Versace Eros, I feel it's more like an 85 to 90% on how close they are. Not spot on, obviously, given the percentage, but there is a slight offness to it. To me, I detect a slight nuttiness to it, but that could just be my skin. For me, Eros lasted about 6 hours. I actually smelled pretty good in the air when my girl smelled it, and she actually said, okay, that does smell like Eros, but up close it smelled a little bit further apart. When you smell the two side by side, I do feel that you can smell the difference. It is that 85 to 90% range of closeness, but in the air, that's where I feel that it is a lot closer. If you're walking by someone wearing this, you would honestly think that this was Eros without a doubt. You wouldn't really have much of a question, but once again, up close, it's a little bit further apart. So the least close, Eros. Next up, that's a little bit closer to the actual fragrance, is Prada L'Homme, which is their take on, obviously, Prada L'Homme. When it comes to how close Prada L'Homme from Scentual Obsession is to the actual fragrance, I feel that their take, Scentual Obsession's take, is just slightly a little bit more chemically in the opening, maybe a little bit more soapier. It's more 90%, a more solid 90% than Eros was at 85 to 90. This one smells good, but it's just a little bit off. When you're comparing the two, Prada L'Homme from Scentual Obsessions to the actual Prada L'Homme, once again, up close you can detect the difference. In my opinion, you can smell that Scentual Obsessions is just a little bit soapier or more chemically, where in Prada's version, it's just a lot cleaner, smoother, and it is what it is. So in the air, they're a lot better. Up close, just a little bit different. Next one up is Lucky, which is their take on 1 Million Lucky. As you can see, I've used quite a bit of that one. I don't know if you can see that well, but yeah, used quite a bit. How close is it to 1 Million Lucky? In the air, I feel it is more of a closer towards 90 to 95% range, but there is a little bit more airiness. It's not as dense as 1 Million Lucky is. 1 Million Lucky is just a slight thicker, but this one just seems a little bit more airy. And it seems like the nutty aspect is just a slight bit dialed down, in my opinion. But once again, all these are great fragrances, great scents on their own. But when it comes to how close they are, this one I feel is in between the 90 to 95% range. This one, 1 Million Lucky, or Lucky, is actually a great fragrance. The amount of time that Lucky lasted on me was about 7 hours. It actually worked pretty well. In the dead of heat, for me, it felt like it lasted a lot less, like about 2 hours less. So about 5 hours. But on a regular calm day where I'm not really doing much, I felt like this one lasted about 7 hours. A great scent in my opinion. Next one up is their take on Ultraman. Ultraman. Bam. Y'all already know the scent DNA. You already know that this is a club banger, super sweet, does great at nighttime, and the projection and longevity is beast. Super sweet. Scentual Obsessions take on it I think they did a really good job with this one as well. It has a same sweetness, the density's there. Maybe not as dense, but it's dense. Ultraman, the actual original, is a lot denser, but this one has a lot of staying power. This one lasted at least a good 10 hours on me. Easy. On clothes, probably 12 hours. In my opinion, Ultraman from Scentual Obsessions is a lot closer than the previous three. This one I felt does the job very well. In the air, you can obviously smell just like Jean Paul Gaultier. In the air, I feel that Ultraman from Scentual Obsessions, they did a great job. This one pretty much is a good 95 to 97%. It kind of sucks that I'm putting percentages, but I'm just trying to give you a range on how close I feel that each one of these fragrances are to the actual counterparts. They're cloning. And also, look at the tint on that. It does have the nice little light blue color to it, just like Dolce & Gabbana, the one Intense, I think it's called. I haven't had any issues with this staining any of my clothes. So that being said, this one does last a long time on the clothes, about 10 hours plus. On skin, I got about maybe 7 to 8 hours, easy. When it comes to the actual fragrance that I feel is closest to the actual fragrance that is cloning, I feel Virgin Island Water is a good representation of Virgin Island Water from Creed. At first sniff of Virgin Island Water from Scentual Obsession, I do get slight of a candy aspect to it, but a little bit into the dry down, probably 5 minutes after, that lime just starts popping out a little bit more. It's like a lime heavier Virgin Island Water, which I feel is very dope, very refreshing. Once again, this is another one that I've tested out quite a bit because I like the scent a lot. This one I feel is closer towards Virgin Island Water than the rest are towards their counterparts. Once again, this is not 100%, but up close, obviously you can tell the difference. This one is just a little bit more limier in my opinion, but when you smell it in the air, you know it's Virgin Island Water. There's no doubt about it. The only thing I didn't really care for about this fragrance is that the longevity was almost just as bad as the Virgin Island Water from Creed. Not as bad, it probably lasted a hair longer, but it was about 5 hours. So that all being said, I had no problem respraying this fragrance and it smells very good and refreshing in my opinion. So there you go guys, that's my take on a few fragrances from Scentual Obsessions. Let me know in the comment section, have you heard of anything from this company? Have you purchased anything from them? If you have, let me know what you think about a few of the fragrances. Let me know in the comment section. You know what, how about I give these away? Let me know in the comment section that you want to be entered to win the rest of these samples. So just hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and hit that bell, and let me know in the comment section that you want to be entered. Pretty much what I just said a second ago, but I just said it again. You know what to do. Scentual Obsessions and their clones, not bad in my opinion. But at the end of the day, still Scented Water.